आज मलेशिया ने हमारा जहाज रोक लिया कर्जों के बदले, ऐसा है? कल अगर किसी एयरपोर्ट पे आपके नाम नेहाद प्राइम मिनिस्टर को कर्जों के बदले रोक ले तो क्या होगा? और रोकेंगे। जब आप कर्जे वापस नहीं करेंगे तो आपको रोकेंगे जनाब चेयरमैन। कितनी रुसवाई और शर्मिंदगी की बात है। कहते जी मुल्क को हमने तरक्की की शाहराह पे गामजन किया है, कर्जे लेते हो तो वापस नहीं देते हो। तो मलेशिया जो हमारा दोस्त मुल्क है, एक इस्लामी मुल्क, वो मजबूर होकर आपका जहाज रोकता है, तो मुझे यकीन है कि कल आपके प्राइम मिनिस्टर को भी रोक लेंगे।
Pakistani Senator Ghafoor Heydari's speech was both despairing and mocking. Despairing of the economic crisis Pakistan finds itself in, and mocking the political leaders who have driven the country even deeper into debt. In January, Malaysian authorities seized Pakistan International Airlines Boeing 777 at Kuala Lumpur Airport, with passengers still on board. The plane was seized on the orders of a local Malaysian court because the airline, owned by the Pakistani government, had failed to pay leasing fees worth $15 million. Embarrassing as it was, the unpaid leasing fees are just the tip of the iceberg. Pakistan's debt problem is massive and has been in the making for years. In the 1970s, the Pakistani government began borrowing to cope with the impact of high oil prices. In an attempt to manage this debt, Pakistan took a series of ballot loans from the International Monetary Fund. Between 1990 and 2016, Pakistan's external government debt payments averaged 16% of government revenue. Pakistan's current debt status. In 2020, Pakistan's total debt was 107% of its GDP. The government's debt grew at a double-digit pace to $2.23 trillion by November 2020. So in the 2 years since Imran Khan took over as the Prime Minister, the central government's debt grew by more than $62 billion. Pakistan's external debt reached an all-time high of $113.8 billion in September 2020. By the end of financial year, Pakistan's currency had depreciated 13.8% against the US dollar. Why is Pakistan in this debt trap? Pakistan's tax to GDP ratio went from 12.4% in 2016 to 9.6% in 2020 due to corona-related lockdown. While Pakistan had a tax revenue gap of 10% of its national GDP, lavish spending on non-developmental projects didn't help the country's internal debt situation either. Another factor was decades of economic mismanagement and financing infeasible infrastructure projects through long-term debt instruments. Pakistan's borrowing policy, relying massively on external borrowing then from domestic institutions, added to its troubles. The rollout of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor proved a heavy blow. It opened the door to ever-increasing external loans. In 2018, government's external debt increased by 46% to $76.3 billion. In December 2020, reports indicated that China was dragging its feet on Pakistan's request to fund the main Line 1 railway project. This project, worth $6.1 billion, came under the CPEC umbrella. While both China and Pakistan have celebrated the speed of the projects, here's a reality check. Out of 122 projects, only 32 seem to have progressed. This, as China continues to exploit Pakistan economically and strategically. Pakistan's feeble damage control. In December 2020, a huge power outage plunged Pakistan's biggest cities into darkness. Just days after that, Imran Khan approved a hike in electricity prices by up to 25%. The timing was spectacularly bad, but Khan did not have much of an option. Pakistan had to fulfill a major condition of the IMF to revive a $6 billion program that had been suspended for a decade. With the figures in its debt column climbing, Pakistan has also asked the international community for debt suspension till the end of the pandemic.
We do not have the money to spend on already the overstretched health services, and secondly, to stop people from dying of hunger. Therefore, I will be appealing to the world leaders, to the heads of financial institutions, to the Secretary General of United Nations, to launch an initiative that will give debt relief to developing countries to combat the coronavirus.
But even before the coronavirus crisis, the Imran Khan government have been scrambling for funds. In July 2019, Pakistan increased prices of natural gas by up to 200%. It's also entangled in a complicated web of borrowing from one country to pay off another, which means it is the perfect target for China's loan shark tactics. China stepped in twice to rescue Pakistan from having to default on Saudi loans worth $2 billion. But China may soon turn off this tap. Overall lending by the China Development Bank and Export-Import Bank of China declined from $75 billion in 2016 to just $4 billion in 2020. Impact of Pakistan's money crunch. Rising debt means less money for social expenditure. Reduced government spending creates joblessness. This in turn creates a situation ripe for social unrest. In Pakistan in particular, it could result in a rise in insurgency. Pakistan's rising debt also means that the door opens even wider for a predatory China. By dangling low-interest loans to tide over immediate crisis, Beijing would end up controlling Islamabad economically, militarily, and politically.